We all know how it ends. I mean, you can probably picture it right now. The door opens, Ross turns around, and we hear those four little words. I got off the plane. It's one of the most iconic endings in TV history, a perfect storybook romantic conclusion. But what if one single decision completely flipped that script? What if love didn't win? Let's explore what could have been.
It really is a simple question, isn't it? But wow, does it change absolutely everything we thought we knew about the epic story of Ross and Rachel? What if she chose her career? What if she chose Paris and actually stayed there?
So this really frames the whole conflict perfectly. The story we got is the one where love conquers all. Simple as that. But in the reality we're about to walk through, something else takes center stage: personal ambition. It's a totally different story with a totally different lesson at its heart. Okay, so let's get on that plane with Rachel. Let's imagine that in this version of the story, she makes a different call, a choice that you could argue honors the entire decade of growth she fought so hard for. To really feel the weight of this decision, we have to remember this was not just another job, not by a long shot. After starting out as a waitress, Rachel had to claw her way up in the super competitive, kind of ruthless fashion industry. So this Louis Vuitton offer, it wasn't just an opportunity. It was the ultimate validation. It was proof that she had finally truly made it, all on her own terms. And that right there is the key. This was never just a choice between a guy and a job. It was a choice between two completely different futures. The one she built for herself through pure grit, and the one defined by a love story that, let's be honest, had been on again, off again for 10 long years.
So she stays on the plane. And in this telling, her choice isn't about running away from her past. Not at all. It's about confidently stepping into the future she earned. So let's picture what that life would have actually looked like for her.
And you know what? At first, it's pretty much everything she ever wanted. She is a massive success. She's not just getting by in the high-stakes world of Paris fashion. No, she is thriving. She's earning respect, building a name for herself, and really becoming that powerful, independent woman she always dreamed of being. Her ambition pays off big time. But here's the thing. Professional success doesn't just erase a decade of personal history. Her thoughts of Ross, they don't just vanish. Instead, they linger. It's not some dramatic, tearful heartbreak. It's something much quieter. A constant, low-level wonder about the road not taken. It's the feeling of a story that was left unfinished. Okay, so now let's flip back to New York and talk about Ross, because Rachel's choice sends him down a completely different path, one that isn't defined by finally getting the girl, but by having to learn how to live without her.
Just try to imagine that empty doorway. There's no last-minute, breathless confession. No, I got off the plane. There's just Ross, standing alone in his apartment, slowly letting the reality sink in that this time, it's really over. Rachel didn't just leave. She chose a different life over a life with him.
And this right here is what finally forces Ross to grow up and break that 10-year cycle. He goes through a whole process. First, the struggle, right? He's obsessing over every little thing that went wrong. But then there's a crucial shift. He has to pour his energy somewhere else, into his career, into being an amazing father to Emma. And finally, he gets there. He reaches a place of real acceptance, a mature understanding that not every great love story is meant to last forever. But this one decision, it doesn't just change Ross and Rachel. Their relationship was kind of like the gravitational center of the group, and its definitive end sends these little ripples through their entire circle of friends. So what does this new reality look like for Monica, Chandler, Joey, and Phoebe? Well, life obviously goes on. Of course it does. Monica and Chandler are crazy busy with the twins, Joey's still chasing his acting dream, and Phoebe is happily married to Mike. But there's a permanent change. That core 6 is now 5. There's an empty space at the table at Central Perk that never quite gets filled. Just a quiet, constant feeling that something's missing. So as we start to wrap up this whole thought experiment, it really makes you ask, is this just a sadder ending? Or does this alternate path maybe offer something more profound? Something that might, weirdly, resonate even more with us today? Because in this ending, the characters grow beyond their romance. They actually become symbols of these powerful, really mature ideas. Rachel becomes the symbol of true independence, proving that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. And Ross? He comes to represent a totally different kind of love, the strength you find in acceptance, and in truly, finally, letting someone go. And in the end, that's what makes this alternate version so compelling.
It trades that neat, tidy bow of a sitcom finale for something way more realistic and, well, messy. It rejects the idea of a definitive happily ever after and instead gives us something much more resonant, the endless, fascinating idea of possibility.
Which leaves us with this one last nagging question. What actually defines a right choice? Is it the one that leads to the most conventional, expected happiness? Or is it the one that honors the person you fought so damn hard to become? This alternate ending doesn't give us the answer, and you know what? Maybe that's the entire point.